Thank you for inviting me. There's so much that is happening right now. I wanted to talk a little bit about ACORN. There's a lot that's been happening on the horizon. If you take a look in your packets, we have a timeline. Some of the things that I've been concerned about are in front of you. One of the things that I was first dealing with, of course, was with the stimulus. That's when we found out that there was going to be just massive sums of money put in the stimulus, and then again you saw that in the budget. And you know, we had done the research and saw that they had somewhere, you know, $54 million that ACORN took in from 1994 to present, and then voila, after we have the ascension of our new president, then all of a sudden we saw that ACORN was really getting into serious money now in the stimulus, and even more stimulus, more serious money in the budget. And so that was an issue that captured my attention. And then after that, the census. I was very concerned when I saw that the census was going to announce as one of their great new partners. And remember, credibility is everything for the census, and they're announcing that ACORN is going to be one of their partners. And so anyway, you can see this timeline in front of you. I don't need to go through it all. But something that I have been concerned about, we took the vote that went through last week on the continuing resolution. The House had passed ours first, and then the Senate passed its continuing resolution. And of course, the big bragging rights that was associated with continuing resolution was defunding of ACORN. And despite the fact that we had taken these big bravado votes in both the House and the Senate on two separate bills, as you recall, one was an education bill in the House, and one was a housing bill in the Senate. And on these bills, we had defunded ACORN, but how were these bills going to match up? Well, they matched up in the continuing resolution, and it was a defunding. But this is something that very, very few people know. Perhaps I would imagine all of you in this room would know it. But the fact that ACORN is only defunded through October 31st, and the biggest trick or treat is going to be perpetrated upon the American taxpayers of this country, because come November 1st, that prohibition is going to lift, and ACORN is going to be back in the money again without really dodging a bullet. So what is this? To just be defunded for something under a month by the Congress? This hardly warrants a slap on the wrist for this organization. And still to this date, we haven't seen any real investigations occur. The IRS had announced that there'd be an investigation, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a full-scale investigation. There's been, again, a lot of bravado here, and thankfully, this really is real with the Census Bureau and ACORN, that they've actually rescinded that relationship.
You said the Southern Poverty Law Center uses the term hate crime against FAIR. How has the general media treated your organization?
I would say most responsible journalists who happen to take the time, who have the ability, the willingness to really check an allegation, treat FAIR fair. FAIR has been alleged to be a hate group, which is sort of the new attack tactic of the political left. The tactics by the open borders, the amnesty advocates, they don't seem to be able to win the argument that most Americans make that we need secure borders by intellectual fact, by open debate, so they degrade into ad hominem attacks. It's certainly a disadvantage for FAIR and other groups who represent the mainstream majority to have to deal with baseless, wild, reckless allegations, because ultimately the initial attack, the ad hominem attack, is ultimately more powerful than the pro forma response. And irresponsible journalists understand that. So we would simply ask journalists to interject more temperate language, less heated rhetoric into the stories that they do about immigration, and work hard to get both sides of the story.